Two companies buy the exact same frontier AI model on the exact same day. 5 years later, one dominates its market with highly capable staff, while the other is hollowed out, struggling to retain basic customer trust. The technology did not decide their fates. The deployment architecture did. One approach treats AI entirely as a labor substitute. The goal here is strict and straightforward. Maximize quarterly efficiency by eliminating human headcount and replacing it with algorithmic output. The alternative approach treats AI as infrastructure for human capability. It uses the exact same models to reduce friction, but keeps humans directly in the workflow to build compounding expertise over time. We are looking at two conflicting accounting frameworks. One optimizes for immediate margin reduction. The other absorbs upfront costs to protect long-term operational resilience. The deployment path an executive team funds this quarter will dictate the actual structural shape of their organization a decade from now. These are not theoretical models. Major corporations are actively committing billions of dollars to these divergent paths right now. In March 2026, Oracle restructured its product development teams, cutting thousands of jobs to redirect $8 to $10 billion in payroll cash flow toward GPU clusters. The executive logic was explicitly stated. They are choosing the chips. During that same window, Synergy Bank and Walmart deployed the same frontier tech to handle massive data operations, like Walmart managing 850 million catalog items. But they executed this while explicitly committing to retain and train their human workforce. Walmart's chief people officer outlined their specific reasoning. Replacing workers with AI forfeits the opportunity to build a workforce actually equipped to navigate an AI-enabled economy. Every board must decide where their capital goes, reallocated into silicon servers or invested directly into the people who will govern those servers. The replacement architecture is highly seductive because the financial returns are front-loaded. A reduction in payroll produces immediate, highly visible quarterly savings on a balance sheet. This chart plots the life cycle of a purely replacement-based deployment. Notice the green line. Cost savings spike at month 0, exactly when the human operators are removed. But look at the trajectory between 12 and 18 months. A severe red line of quality complaints spikes violently upward, eventually crossing and wiping out the value of the initial savings. We are seeing this exact pattern force reversals in major consumer deployments. This lag occurs because of cognitive offloading. When an AI handles the entire workflow, the remaining human workers gradually lose the baseline expertise required to catch the system's inevitable hallucinations and errors. Short-term cost extraction from headcount reduction creates a delayed deficit in customer trust. By the time the quality drop appears in the metrics, the expertise needed to fix it is already gone. That loss of expertise triggers a much larger internal crisis, the collapse of the corporate talent pipeline. This flowchart illustrates how organizations historically build talent. Professionals develop high-level judgment exclusively by completing the low-level, friction-heavy work at the entry stage. When companies deploy AI to absorb those entry-level roles entirely, they break the mechanism that creates their future leaders. Recent payroll data analysis from Stanford researchers shows a measurable drop in early career employment across AI-exposed occupations. The entry point is disappearing. The math here is severe. If there is no entry-level training ground today, the senior workforce of 2035 will simply fail to form. The augmentation architecture directly solves both the quality lag and the pipeline collapse. This path requires heavier, more patient investment. Capital goes toward technical infrastructure, but an equal effort goes into continuous human upskilling. JPMorgan Chase demonstrated this model by pairing an $18 billion technology budget with an active training initiative reaching 300,000 workers. They treat AI as a tool to extend human reach, rather than eliminate it. The market is already pricing in the results. Professionals with the skills to actively govern and verify AI outputs currently command a 56% wage premium because their capability is scarce and highly valuable. Executives choosing this architecture are consciously sacrificing maximum immediate margins in exchange for compounding long-term operational resilience. Many organizations claim to practice augmentation by keeping a human in the loop. But if those employees are merely clicking approve on AI outputs to hit high-volume quotas, that is not augmentation. That is replacement with a cosmetic human interface. Look at this process map. Genuine augmentation requires the checkpoint principle. An AI output must physically halt at a defined human checkpoint before it translates into a real-world business consequence. For that checkpoint to mean anything, the human must carry actual, documented responsibility for the decision, tied to moral, employment, civil, or criminal accountability. This structure intentionally slows the process down. It reintroduces friction to ensure that structural errors are caught by human judgment before they reach the public or the balance sheet. If the human reviewer faces no personal consequence for letting an algorithmic error slip through, the governance structure is an illusion. To see which path makes sense for your organization, we have to look at your ultimate time horizon. This quadrant chart maps your timeline against your objectives. The horizontal axis runs from short-term to long-term, and the vertical axis measures cost extraction versus capability growth. If your organization is optimizing for an imminent exit, immediate survival, or strict quarterly shareholder returns, the replacement architecture sits squarely in the short-term cost extraction quadrant. If you are playing the long game, optimizing for market dominance and high-trust complex problem-solving, the augmentation architecture anchors the long-term capability growth quadrant. Artificial intelligence is a mirror. It does not dictate your corporate strategy. It aggressively accelerates whatever priorities your organization has already established. Waiting for regulators to pause AI development is not a viable strategy. The global capability is already distributed and commercialized. You have to make a choice with the tools available today. Every executive faces a strict binary decision. You are either building systems to extract immediate labor costs, or you are building systems to compound human expertise. Look past the PR statements. Look directly at your own internal accounting. The budget allocations will show you exactly which culture is actually being funded. We cannot stop the rapid advancement of the underlying technical models, but the deployment architecture, how those models interact with your employees and your customers, remains entirely within human control. Do not mistake short-term accounting efficiency for long-term strategic survival. The choice of which AI future to build